guys, my name is Arpita and I welcome you all back to my channel Flights of Fantasy. Your resume is arguably the most valuable piece of paper for your career, but this document can be daunting for many of us. Maybe you're not sure about how to fit in all your information onto that one page. Maybe you're not sure about the right way to format and write your resume. Maybe you don't even know what the heck a resume is. Whatever your concern, let's break down everything you need to know about making the perfect resume from scratch. Now let's talk about what exactly is a resume. A resume is a summary of your career. Whether yours is just getting started or has been going on for years. Coming in at around 1 page in length, 2 only under specific circumstances, it showcases the jobs you've held and currently hold, the responsibilities that you've taken on, the skills that you have developed, and the qualities you bring to the table as an employee. Together, those things makes it super easy for any recruiter to see your qualifications and fit for a role. For all the work you may put into writing one, recruiters actually spend very little time, mere seconds in many cases, looking at your resume. But despite this sad fact, it's safe to say that creating a great resume rather than hastily throwing one together still matters. So what do you think employers, the recruiters looking for in a resume? So the basic 3 things that they look in your resume. What did you do? Why did you do it? And what was the result? If you can answer these 3 questions in your resume, bullet points, you're going to be on the right track. Clear, easy to understand language is the key. The truth is that most resumes make no sense. They're stuffed with jargon, they look so technical and they're filled with redundancies. So the idea is to make a resume which is easy for someone to understand. So let's start with the first things first. Pick your format. So before you start typing one single thing, you have to decide what you want the overall resume to look like. It's often safest to start with a clean slate, all on your own, and eventually upgrade to a more advanced layout. This allows you to course correct, edit and re-edit and choose a resume format that best fits your particular situation. In general, you're most likely to cover or include sections like your work experience, your non-work experience, including your professional organizations, community involvement or side projects, your education and your certifications, your skills, specifically hard skills and interests. So how do you format and organize all that information? By far, the most common and safest option is reverse chronological order. This means you organize your experiences from most recent to the least recent ones. So start with your basic information. Your contact information should always go at the top of your resume. In this header, you would want to include anything that could be helpful for a recruiter to get in touch with you. Usually this means adding in your full name, your phone number and your personal email address. This section will most likely be the bulk of your resume. Even if you're changing careers, employers still want to see where you have worked, what you have done, and the impact of that work to get a sense of your background and your expertise. Your work experience might be one entire category, or you might choose to break it into relevant experience and additional experience to highlight the jobs that are most important for hiring managers to focus on. Either way, you will always want to have your most recent experience at the top of your order Down the below. Within your work experience, you also want to include each official job title, the company, possibly its location and the years that you worked there. Below that, you add in a couple of bullet points explaining what did you do exactly in that job. The skills you built and exercised, the tools you used, and the results of what you did. If you've accomplished a lot during your time there, focus on the responsibilities that made the most impact or you are most proud of, as well as the ones that best align you with the job that you're applying for. It's key here to list, if relevant, quantitative as well as qualitative accomplishments. Anything you've done that's not work experience, your side gig, a volunteer work, special projects can be hosted under clearly labeled sections, which is the volunteer experience or activities, for example. Depending on how robust your work experience is, these things may be worth including, particularly if they've helped you level up your skill set or better align you with your dream job. Plus, they make you look much more well-rounded, passionate, and hardworking. If you're a recent graduate, you might also build out a section for on-campus activities such as clubs, organizations, or leadership experience. This can be a great supplement if you're lacking in the jobs department. You can frame these just as you would do in terms of your professional jobs, including your title, your organization's name, and the bullets describing what your role was and what you exactly accomplished. Don't forget your education. If you're still in school or just graduated, your education can go at the top of your resume. But for pretty much everyone else, this goes near the bottom. Most people include their school graduation year, major, and degree. Brand new graduates might also write in their honors and awards, study abroad, thesis, or other notable achievements. But keep this section super simple, guys, as you don't want it to take up too much space over your work experience. It's possible you have unique education experience such as taking an online course or certification. If you did this specifically as a way to boost yourself within your industry, definitely include it. Again, list everything more or less reverse chronologically. So a graduation school degree would go above an undergraduation degree, and a more recent relevant online course would go above that. Top it off with some skills and interests. The skills section of a resume gets a bad rap, but it's just as important as the rest of the stuff you include. It's a quick list a recruiter can scan to see if your skill set aligns with what they're hiring for. Usually this section goes at the bottom of your resume, but in special cases, such as a skill-based resume or when someone's switching fields, you may place it further up. You guys may have heard of a resume summary statement. They're not super common, but they can be useful to include near the top of your resume. If you're looking to add clarity or context to your resume, if you are a career changer, you might find a summary statement helpful in explaining your leap and trying your experience to your new path. Or if you're a more experienced professional, you can use a summary statement to highlight a theme that brings your career trajectory together. Once you have your resume written out, you've broken down your work experience, tagged on some activities and additional experiences and listed out your skills, it's important to go back to the job description or multiple job descriptions if you're applying to several similar jobs, and make sure that what your resume says matches up with the kind of candidate the employers are looking for. In other words, tailor it. Please guys, don't just write your resume and shoot it without giving it a second glance. Hiring managers may not spend hours browsing it, But if there is one thing that sticks out more than anything else, it's a glaring typo. The best approach, write a rough draft, then leave and come back to it later with a fresh eye to it and give it an edit. Cover the basics. Is your contact information correct and updated? Are you using the right verb tenses? Does everything look consistent and accurate in terms of spelling and grammar? Then do some cutting if your resume seems to be quite long. It's no longer a hard and fast rule that all resumes must be only one page. But consider it is a smart guideline for most applicants, especially if you've got less than 10 years of experience. The exception is if you're very senior or very established in your career. In this scenario, a 2-page resume isn't completely out of the question. Now, formatting wise, it's key to consider a couple of things. First, what font are you using? And is it legible for a human or a robot? When in doubt, go with one of these simple but sleek options: Arial Narrow, Calibri, etc. etc. Second, if you're going to save it as a Word document or PDF. Neither option is wrong, although a PDF helps ensure that your formatting is maintained, no matter what type of computer the hiring manager uses to open the document. Third, is your resume formatted in a way that is skimmable? Once you've given it a few good looks, it may be worth sending it to a friend or a colleague or even to a career coach to get a second opinion. Don't just have them edit it for spelling and grammar. They should dig into your bullets and offer feedback on whether or not your resume is showing you in the best possible light. Your resume is a living, breathing document. So while you won't go through this whole process every time you apply for a job, you should be thinking about all these things as you go to upgrade your resume for your next career step. You might decide later on to switch up the order or remove or add things or even get creative and try out a whole new different format. If you're not getting the calls that you expect, you may decide to scrap it and start all over again, and that's totally okay. Regardless of where this piece of paper goes and how it grows, guys, when you give it the care and attention it deserves, you set yourself up for success, and you will make it that much more likely that you will land up and in an interview and get chances to prove the hiring manager what you've got to offer. So guys, what are we waiting for? Let's get to it. I wish you guys the very best. With this, I come to an end of this video. If you like this video, do not forget to hit on the like button, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to share it with your family and friends. I will be back with you guys very soon with more informative videos. Till then, you take good care of yourself. This is Arpita signing off from Flights of Fantasy.